neglected to introduce ourselves. My name is Paul Bodwin, and I'll be doing play-by-play. And Saul Eugene here is with me on commentary. He is a great football mind. And so looking forward to him breaking things down for us. We're about to get set here with the kickoff. The Jaguars will be receiving from the Benilde St. Margaret's Red Knights, and here we go.
Back to receive for the Jaguars, number 1, Abram Bergman.
And we got a little bit of a muff gathering of the football, and I think he stepped out of bounds right at about the 15-yard line.
If I'm not mistaken, that should be a penalty. Unless it's a different rule in high school, typically if you possess it while standing out of bounds, it is a kick out of bounds technically, and not it's as opposed to possessing it and then stepping out of bounds. I question how well that initial play was called, if I'm being honest.
It was a little goofy, whether, when, and where he even had possession. But it looks like they elected here to just put the ball on the 15-yard line and get our first play from scrimmage going of 1st and 10 for the Bloomington Jefferson Jaguars.
That dirty kick really paying off.
So we are kind of short on some rosters tonight. We're going to do our best to figure out who's on the field. Hard to see those light blue numbers of the Jaguars. But we've got to run up the gut right out of the gate, and it's a nice gain of about 15, 16, maybe 17 yards, finding a nice hole in the offensive line of the Jaguars.
It's a nice little inside zone.
For a gain of 17 and a Jaguar first down.
Did you catch the number of the guy who took it, Saul?
I did not, unfortunately. These are some difficult numbers to see. I want to say number 1 got the ball. Abram Brueggemann.
So here we go. It's 1st and 10 after a nice gain on their initial play. Another give to Brueggemann, who is met right at the line, hit a big red wall. Nothing gaining there.
Yeah, the Red Knights really coming out with a light box against this spread offense. It's going to really come down to how well those 3 down linemen can control the line of scrimmage. I think the goal here is to make the Jaguars a one-dimensional offense. Yep. And if they can pound the rock, they can probably control some of this game a little better.
So here we go. It's 2nd and 10 now. We've got Joseph Moore in the shotgun position. We got a flag on the field. Looks like it may be a false start on the Jaguars. Going to back them up. So now it'll be 2nd and 15. So the Jaguars with a really nice 15-yard run on their very first play. Now they kind of run into the big red wall there, and they're backing up and going the wrong direction.
Yeah, I think that first kind of opening zone play, they're able to just move that nose guard and hit a hole, but the end caught the puller slipping.
So 2nd and 15 here. And there goes Joseph with a little throw to the side and maybe gained a yard or so, but not much. So it's going to be 3rd and long for the Jaguars.
Yeah, great play and great reaction from Jaden Garibaldi. Benilde's kind of do-it-all player there at the corner.
It was Carson Christensen with the reception, trying to get what he could out of that, but there wasn't much there. A beautiful night here in St. Louis Park. It's perfect football weather, if you ask me. A little crisp, not too cold.
It's good weather to hit someone.
Yep. No wind. So here we go. It's 3rd and 14 for the Jaguars. Likely going to throw the ball, but who knows? Hoping to get that first down, at least get out of deep into their own territory.
It looked like they have him leveraged.
Joseph is back, and he's in trouble, and he's almost taken down. He breaks 2 tackles. Now he does a little shovel pass, and it is, incomplete. I'm assuming is an incomplete pass.
That was forward.
Yep. Yeah, it was a forward pass. Just wanted to confirm that, and so it's going to be 4th and long, and the Jaguars are going to have to punt.
Yeah, I mean, very, very disappointing result following what seemed like a promising start. They came out physical and really didn't follow it up, unfortunately.
So not much wind at all today, so that shouldn't be much of a factor here on what I'm assuming will be a punt. And it looks like quarterback Abram Joseph is also their punter, which could be convenient. A little line drive kick, not very far, just over the 50-yard line, lands and rolls to about the 40. And the Red Knights will take over on the Jaguar 40-yard line. Good field position for the Red Knights.
Definitely. All right. I am curious, what when we talk about long snapper protections, how far does he have to be snapping it to get that protection?
I'm not sure.
I noticed that they cheated it up to about 7-ish yards, and I don't know at what point is it a really long shotgun versus a long snap that protects that center from contact.
So here we go. The Red Knights get it going. It's a handoff to number 33, trying to turn a quarter, can't quite do it. And the Jaguars eventually get him pushed out of bounds. Getting a little chippy out there already. And that was ball carrier number 33, Brady Paulson. Trying to turn the corner and just couldn't quite do it. Looks like we've got number 9, Peyton Myers under center. Drops back to the pass, has some time, throws a little bit of it. He's got a man. Wide open is number 3, Nate Dukowski, who brings the ball down to about the 19-20 yard line for the Red Knights. Good eyes on the part of the quarterback there, who found a wide open man, Saul.
Yeah, no, it looked like they were kind of showing a flood zone. And I can't tell if it was supposed to be kind of a leak or if he just found some space and settled. But
Peyton Myers, that was on the throw. And now we've got number 1, Jaden Garibaldi with the carry. Not much there.
He's a great athlete. We're going to see him get in space a lot today. He is who the Red Knights want to get the ball. If he is touching the ball a lot, they are feeling good about their offense.
Yeah, interesting that you say that, and this is his first touch, and now he's coming out of the game.
Yeah, well, he looked like he was calling to the coach. I wonder if he's coming up a little gimpy here. Hopefully it's just a stinger.
All right, so it's going to be 2nd and 7 here. The ball on the 18-yard line for the Red Knights. And there's a handoff to number 26. They're really spreading it out, the Red Knights are, to Joe Rishowiak.
It's a crafty little inside trap. It looked like the D-tackle kind of blew up that puller there and forced it to bounce. You know, good early stand here from the Jaguars in the red zone.
Yep.
You know, forcing this 3rd down here, though. You know, I know the Red Knights struggle a little bit in the kicking game. That I'd expect this to be 4-down territory here.
Very well could be. Quarterback drops back, finds a man, fires it in there. It's just a little high and maybe a little too much zip on it. And that was intended for number 17, Finn Lang.
He did a really good job of just settling in the hole in the zone. You know, the quarterback's just got to bring that down. You know, those are the throws in zone that you worry about getting picked, right?
Yep.
Those are tips and overthrows.
And here we go, like you said, 4-down territory for the Red Knights. We'll see what Peyton Myers can orchestrate here. He drops back, a little bit of pressure, finds a man, threads the needle, and that is number 2, who breaks some tackles and prances his way into the end zone for a Red Knight touchdown. That's Braylon Kelly-Taylor. And, man, the Red Knights have really spread it out.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're airing the ball out. You know, I don't know if this is something they saw, you know, pre-game on film that, you know, when you talk about scripting out that first drive, but I don't know if you can do it any better. You know, I mean, obviously having to go for the 4th down is always maybe a little stressful, but when you got a receiver who can break tackles like that in the open field, you feel good going for it.
And here's the kick. It is up, and it is good. The Red Knights take a 7-0 lead here in the first quarter on a big play down the field. They brought it to about the 20-yard line, and on a 4th down, they convert and get the touchdown and go ahead. I believe that was Ahura Rohani on the kick. And now I'm just all distracted by Carly Rae Jepsen.
I'm pretty sure I'll be singing this all night.
It's like the summer of 2013 all over again, Saul.
Yeah. That would have been the summer before my senior year of high school.
Oh, there you go.
I heard that everywhere. You couldn't escape it.
It was everywhere. I even heard it. So the Red Knights will kick off here after a nice opening drive with 7:39 to play in the first quarter.
See if they try that dirty kick again, too.
Yeah.
It worked last time. No reason to.
And there's the kick. It's up and fielded at about the 25-yard line by number 55, who was able to turn a little bit of a corner, find some space. Really nice run back all the way to about the 46, 47-yard line. And that was number 55, Alexander Matas, for the Jaguars, on a really good return to give him great field position.
When the roster listed as no lineman, you're not usually expecting them to turn the corner as an up man.
You're also not expecting him to even refield the kick as an O-lineman. But here we go. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Jaguars. Trying to make something happen here at about midfield. Great field position.
Yeah, there's too many men on the field. That's got to be a flag. You can't break the huddle like that.
No flag, and it's a keeper to the quarterback, Joseph Moore, who doesn't find much. No flags.
Yeah, that's strange. I mean, typically you can't break a huddle with 12 men. Not just, it's unlike defense where it's about when the ball is snapped and how many men are on the field. Offense can't break the huddle with 12. So, I mean, you know.
Well, they got away with one. Did they still have 12 out there? It looks like a lot. I'm having a hard time counting.
They came out last play with 2 in the backfield and 4 wide, and one of the slot receivers stepped off before the snap.
So Moore lost 2 yards, and now they're going to lose even more on this handoff in the backfield to drop them back to about the 41-yard line. And so the Jaguars, with great field position, are now looking at a 3rd and very long.
This Benilde team plays really well east to west, right? They do a good job of just muddying things up the middle and forcing keeping you from getting north and south and getting those, extra couple yards.
So it's 3rd and 15 now with the ball on the 42-yard line. Jaguars would like to get something going here. Don't want to punt again already.
Watch a play to number 1 in the slot there.
And there goes Abram Brueggemann in motion. There's the snap. Moore looks back, doesn't see much. He takes off. He's got some room, but he's going to be met. Oh, almost. Gets about to the 55-yard line. It's going to be 4th and about 2 or 3 yards. So not much happening there, but a nice gain on the part of the Jaguars and Joseph Moore.
Yeah, I mean, he made it a 4th and manageable, right? I mean, I wouldn't take the offense off the field on this side of the 50.
I agree.
I think they need go back to that inside zone play they opened the game with. Stop going so far east and west and start trying to go up the middle against this light box.
So here we go. It's 4th and 3, 5:30 to play in the first quarter. Moore hands it off, and it's a 1st down and more for number 1. Oh, my goodness. Abram Brueggemann busting through with a big body and a lot of leg to get up to about, inside the 20. It looked like maybe the 18, 19-yard line, Saul.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was that zone read. They had hats in the middle. When you talk about that light box, adding just that zone read wrinkle, looks like they'll still get the 1st down.
Yeah, legal block to the back call, so that's going to back it up. But, okay, yeah, it is the 1st down. They're moving. Yep, they're moving the sticks, so it's not as big of a gain as we had thought, but still a nice 1st down by the Jaguars to get a new set of downs, encroaching deeper and deeper into Red Knight territory.
Yeah, I mean, that play was really made by the quarterback, too. Just holding that end just long enough on that zone read fake gave them just an extra hat up the middle.
So here we go, 1st and 10. Ball on the 39-yard line, and nothing there with that big red wall again. And that was number 6, which is Tanner Williams.
It's really disappointing. I think if he pulled that ball, he would. If it looked like they were running essentially a triple option out of that shotgun play, and if he pulled that, both him and the running back, he had a personal escort down that sideline.
Couldn't quite do it, though, so it's a loss of 1. It's 2nd and 11 now for the Jaguars, but still a nice drive. And there's more back to throw. Finds a man who is hit hard right when he catches it. Nothing dirty there, but a nasty hit.
That's that trap corner for you, right? Being able to get those eyes inside on the quarterback. We call those hospital balls. And they're every receiver and running back's least favorite way to meet a corner.
Yeah, that was an unpleasant exchange there. But, again, nothing dirty or anything. Just a good, solid, hard football hit.
Did they called a penalty?
Oh.
Did they call that on the hit?
I'm not sure, but that's a big gain, and it gives them a first down, and the ball's now on the about the 23-yard line, so they must have called something there. I'm not sure if that kind of hit is illegal.
I doubt it. I mean, he hit him in the body. It's not like it was
And there we go. He turns a corner. And again, that was Abram Brueggemann. Almost made it into the end zone, but skirts ahead for another Jaguar first down, I believe.
Pushed out of bounds inside the 10. Will bring up first and goal for the Jaguars.
So the Jaguars got some kind of break that we missed, potentially on the hit that gave him a first down, and now it is, well, first and 10.
Looks like they're probably going to try and pinch this line here. Watch those edges to come across. There it is.
And nowhere to go there. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 now. I don't believe he didn't gain anything. Oh, he did gain something. Very short gain, but functionally 2nd down and 10 still.
Coming here, look for a pinch from the D line, and both of those outside backers blitzing off the edge. What they're going to try and do is make a scrum in the middle and force the ball bouncing outside and let those linebackers flow.
So here we go. Moore takes the snap, hands it off to Brueggemann, who finds a corner, and he is in for a Jaguar touchdown. How about that, Saul?
That was that speed. I mean, you saw them collapse. When we talk about that fast flow from the linebackers, he just beat him to the edge and turned the corner.
So the Jaguars get a call that we missed. Not sure what it was. Maybe unsportsmanlike conduct or something like that. Gave them a big first down and extra 15 yards, and they're able to convert it for a touchdown and potentially tie this up pending the kick, which is up and good. And we have a tie ball game, friends, with 3:30 to play in the first quarter. And a nice kick there by number 77, Arbor Sturk. Oh, sorry, that Arbor's that's the Red Knights. Thank you, Saul. Marcus Dankman. Thankfully, his last name isn't Doinkman, because that's not what you want with your kicker.
As long as it doinks and goes in, I guess you can't complain too much.
That's true. They don't care what his name is as long as it goes in.
Right.
And it did go in as a nice, solid kick. So we've got a tie game with 3:30 to play in the first quarter. It's been a fun first quarter so far, Saul.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of physicality. The players are really getting into it. We're seeing a little bit of woofing on the field. Hopefully doesn't result in too many more flags like we saw. But, I like the energy. I like the passion. These kids came ready to play.
They did. And the season's winding up. People are jockeying for playoff positions and all of that. So even though this isn't a conference game, they're in different conferences. Both teams are really looking for some wins here tonight, late in the season. Now the Jaguars will kick off, and we'll see if the Red Knights can answer.
For the Jaguars, number 77, Marcus Dankman.
Dankman with a nice high kick, fielded at about the 15-yard line, and he loses it, picks it back up. Now he's at the 10, and everything's closing in on him, and he's going to be down at about the 10 or 11-yard line. So it looked like it could have been a nice return, but the returner muffed the kick.
That was one of the stranger fumbles I think I've seen. He caught it cleanly.
Yeah, it's not like he actually muffed the kick. It was
in the transition into the tuck.
Yep. Yeah, so the Red Knights kind of pinned themselves deep. The ball on the 12-yard line is the official marking. So they're going to have a long way to go.
Coming out really tight.
And so there's a handoff, big hole, and he takes the ball to about the 25-yard line for a Red Knight first down. And I missed who that was. Big guy, is that 26?
And up to Joe Rushowiak.
That's Joe Rushowiak again with a nice run.
Yeah, they just gashed him right up the middle. I mean, very, very brute force type of run.
So it's 1st and 10 now with the ball on the 24-yard line, giving you a little bit more breathing room. Another handoff and just carrying the pile for a short gain, but not too bad considering the wall that he hit and was able to push that ball another couple, 3 yards.
I mean, I've yet to meet an offensive coordinator upset about 4 yards on first
Is that,
down.
yeah, 4 yards, yeah.
It's, you know, 4 yards every play is a guaranteed
That'll do it.
first, yeah. This is the Midwest.
So it's 2nd and 6, ball on the 28-yard line. Red Knights looking to answer in a tie game. And there's a handoff to number 1 who finds a little bit of space, dances around, and he gets himself a first down.
Big 54.
And that's Garibaldi, his second carry of the night, I believe.
Yeah, big 54 pulling around the edge. Found himself a body or two. He flattened a couple of DBs along the way who probably should have ducked.
Another sponsor we would like to thank this evening is TE.
So that'd be 54, Milo Dungan.
Yeah, no, this Red Knight offensive line has some big nasties up front that really like to finish blocks.
So we're at 2 minutes in the first quarter here, and another handoff, and he is met in the backfield. That's a handoff to Folson.
For a loss of 1, will bring up 2nd and 11.
It's a great edge set by the outside backer.
So ball on the 35-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and 11. 1:35 to play in the first quarter here.
See Garibaldi checking back in, too.
Yep. And the Red Knights just kind of pounding it on this drive so far. All run plays.
I'm sure if we can see a first down in the next 2 plays here, there's a play-action pass in their future.
And we got Myers back to throw, finds a man, and he's still up and going. That's number 2, who's finding his way all the way down to the 40-yard line, and that's Braylon Kelly-Taylor.
That was a touchdown scorer earlier, too.
Yep, nice throw on the part of Peyton Myers, and then a great run on the part of Kelly-Taylor to just find his way into Jaguar territory.
I mean, really looking like these new generation receivers, right? It's less the Calvin Johnson of the world being big and going up and get it. It's more about being able to run routes and what can you do with the ball afterwards.
Yep, the catch and run is such a huge, huge piece. And if you can do it well, you can make hay. And here's a handoff. I think that was to Kelly-Taylor.
Handoff to Nate Dukowski.
Oh, no, Nate Dukowski. He's number 3. I thought it was number 2. And he gets a nice gain.
Tackled by
Really impressed with the way the Red Knights have distributed the ball. Multiple people are getting touches, and then they're also mixing it up between the run and the pass.
Yeah, no, and I think they're kind of, they're obviously have great athletes, and I think, when you talk about Garibaldi as well as Kelly-Taylor, really have that big playability, but they do have some just kind of brutes at that fullback position willing to get the dirty yards. And
there's a handoff to number 26. Like you said.
Speaking of dirty yards, right? There's 4 yards and a 3rd and 2. And, 4 down territory. Honestly, if I'm the Red Knights here, I'm thinking about taking a shot deep, knowing you've got an extra down to go get 2 or 3 here.
Yeah, it's 3rd and 3 now. Red Knights converted on 4th down earlier and ended up scoring a touchdown. And that's going to do it for the first quarter. So we get a little bit of a breather here. Really good game so far. Lots happening. We're tied at 7-7. Ball on the 33-yard line, and it's 3rd and 3 to go. Lots of threes getting thrown out there. But, what have you seen so far, Saul? What's the story of the first quarter?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the ability to run the ball. Both teams have been kind of establishing the run and, having a couple of counters, right? I think we saw the Red Knights kind of respond to some of that interior running game by really bringing 5 on the line and crashing them down. And the counter there was that outside zone that was able to beat those inside linebackers to the edge and ultimately score that touchdown. And so, you know, it is a little bit of a chess match here. Interesting to see, you know, if any more wrinkles come as this game continues to play out.
Yeah, and you know, Avon Brueggemann on the Jaguars, just a big, fast runner. And you know, you watch out, if you give him a hole, he's got a burst.
Yes.
That's hard to stop. And so that's, like you said, that factored in enabling that touchdown. But here we'll go. We're going to start the second quarter in just a second here. Flipping sides. And the Red Knights are ready to go with 3rd and 3. Big third down play here. And there's a fake handoff, and the throw is blocked.
Pass intended for Garibaldi.
It's intended for Garibaldi, but it's blocked, and so that'll bring up 4th down, and it looks like they're going to go for it.
It was one of the more unique screen designs I think I've seen. A play action. I don't even know what kind of screen to call that. I'm kind of. It almost was designed like a wide receiver screen, and that was a running back they were throwing to.
It's a St. Margaret screen, Saul.
Sure, there we go. Innovators.
First timeout.
Jaguars wisely, I think, take a timeout here at 4th and 3. They want to make sure they got the right people on the field, trying to turn this over on downs.
Yeah, I mean, I think they want to put this in the hands of the quarterback. You know, this line has been leaning just a little bit. You know, if I were them, I'd try and show a little bit more of a stacked box and try and encourage them to try and get it to the outside rather than right up the middle.
So again, a beautiful night here in St. Louis Park for football. I don't know where anybody else would rather be, other than maybe watching Game 4 of the WNBA Finals.
You know, it'll be a sweep. So
the Jaguars coming back out, looking to turn the ball over on downs. Red Knights are looking to convert and keep this drive going here in the beginning of the second quarter. And he drops back, finds a man. Does Peyton Myers finds? Oh, I missed who it was. Was it Dukowski?
Yeah, it was
Had
Dukowski.
him, and it just couldn't quite pull it in, and the Jaguars turn over the Red Knights on downs.
I mean, really, it was Alexander Matas that made that play. The blitzing linebacker was able to kind of get into the ribs of the quarterback just as he was releasing it. Didn't let him follow through, and is what left that ball just a little high.
Yep. I would say high, but also catchable. It looked like he just about had it, but couldn't quite rake it in.
It's you know, it's one of those plays that you're really excited when he does bring it in.
Yes,
but
yes.
You're not benching him if he doesn't pull it in, kind of thing. It's not a
right. Yeah,
you
exactly.
have a little grace for him on something like that, but you do hope that he can pull that fingertip grab in.
So here we go. The Jaguars with the big stop.
Coming out 5 wide here.
We got Joseph Moore in the shotgun, and it's a handoff to Brueggemann, who's trying to turn that corner, and he does, and he's going to be close to the first down. I don't think he quite got it. I'm guessing that knee was down a yard or so short. It's an 8-yard gain for Brueggemann. Another nice run around the corner.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a clever way to get just extra hats, you know, spread them out wide and force them to really think about the pass game, and then you know, it's all about alignment and assignment, and just aligning just a little too far inside and kind of overplaying the pass there can give the running back that corner.
So here we go, 2nd and 2 to go. Ball on the 41-yard line. Moore in the shotgun. We got a 5 receivers set again, and I think we had a Red Knight jump off sides.
Yeah, Riley Shannon.
Called on the Red Knights.
And that'll be a first down.
Lead to a Jaguar first down.
So another nice break. I don't know if I want to call it a break because sometimes it's just a hard count or something that actually pulls them off sides. And the Jaguars get a first down. That was number 75, Riley Shannon, who jumped. So it's 1st and 10 now, ball on the 46-yard line.
Looks like they're sugaring in there from that edge.
Tea party in the backfield. And there's a handoff. Not sure who got it, but he's hit in the backfield, and that'll back him up a yard or so. Did you see who got that carry, Saul?
I cannot.
It was hard to see.
It was the far running back, and he was swallowed up before.
Yes.
No, I mean, I've really noticed that the Jaguars' best successes come when they haven't had to pull a lineman. As soon as they start kind of getting some of those linemen in motion, these kind of undersized D linemen are just knifing in there and causing havoc.
So Jaguars with 2 in the backfield, 3 receivers. It's 2nd and 10 to go. A little shifty shift with 10 minutes to play in the first half, and it's a keeper, and that's Joseph Moore, who's got a nice gain of about 5 or 6 yards.
That was an odd quarterback power. It looked like almost both the running backs went looking for a pitch like it was a speed option, and he still got 5 without a lead blocker.
Yeah. And so it's a nice gain for the Jaguars, but they're still looking at 3rd and 5 here. Would really like to convert and keep this drive going after they had stopped and turned over the Red Knights on downs. They'd like to punch one in on this drive.
Curious they pull out that triple option again.
Moore with a fake handoff and a keeper, and he is met right at about the line of scrimmage. And so it's going to be 4th down. So nice play on the part of the Red Knights. I missed who made that tackle, but he was standing up tall and strong, wrapped him up, and down Moore went with little to no gain. It's going to be 4th and 4.
I thought that was Nolan Garvin, but the PA in the stadium did give Riley Shannon credit for it.
So here we go. The Jaguars are going for it just into Red Knight territory. 4th down. They just turned over the Red Knights on downs, and now the Red Knights are trying to do the same. Moore with the snap. He keeps it and he dishes it over to Brueggemann, who finds some space and room, and it is a 1st down for the Jaguars. What a game for Brueggemann.
He's hyped up, too. He's feeling himself right now. Just really impressive contact balance. You know, it's not that he's necessarily running away from everyone, but you're not going to get this kid down with an arm tackle.
No, and it's like if you give him any room to get going, he is hard to get down. You've got to hit him right away.
Well, he's a north and south kid. And,
yep.
you know, I think those are usually the most successful high school running backs, are the kids that are able to put their foot in the ground and know that 5 or 6 yards is a successful run.
Yeah, especially when you only need 4 for the 1st down. So
Exactly.
The Jaguars with a big 4th down conversion here with 8:23 to play in the first half. And it's another keeper, and he's going to get a nice gain. And so the Jaguars are really moving the ball well, hardly ever thrown. The one time they did, they had a hard hit that I think they got a penalty on. And so, but had a lot of success on the ground for the Jaguars.
Yeah, well, and, you know, I think they're using that quarterback. The quarterback's legs is just enough of a ploy to keep him honest, right? We're seeing zone reads. We're seeing, you know, some power, some option, speed option, triple option. That's really just trying to take a defender out of the play.
So it's 2nd and 5. And there's a handoff to, I think it was Brueggemann, who got another 2 to 3 yards, close to the 1st down, but a little short.
That was not Brueggemann. Brueggemann was lead blocking on that play.
Okay.
That one, Tanner Williams, number 6.
Tanner Williams with the run. Okay.
After a gain of 1, will bring up 3rd and a long 3.
So 3rd, didn't get as much as I thought. 3rd and 3.
It's been very interesting. A lot of 20 personnel, which is just something you don't see very often in a lot of schemes. But running with a lot of two men in the backfield, but no tight end, no H-back, right? A lot of just spreading them out wide for a team that's not throwing the ball as much as some other spread offenses.
So here we go, 3rd and 3, 7 minutes to play in the half. And it's a handoff and finds some room and gets the 1st down. That is Tanner Williams again, who went down hard, but also ran hard and got the 1st down. And the Jaguars are really moving the ball well and extending this drive. They've had the ball for quite a long time.
Yeah, I mean, almost half the quarter, really, at this point.
Preschool to 6th grade, Catholic community dedicated to the development of the whole child, uniting academics, faith, and family.
So 6:30 to play in the half. The Jaguars just pounding the ball right up the gut on the Red Knights here on this drive. 1st and 10. takes the snap. He's looking for a man. Does he have him? No. Intended receiver on that play was Judas Sorensen, the intended receiver there, the tight end.
Yeah, it was Charlie Schneider, I think, who was in coverage on the end. Number 24, sophomore.
So the Jaguars trying to mix it up a little bit there. And now they're looking at 2nd and 10.
Well, you could see the benefit of the play action there with the outside backer being sucked up just a little, and you just couldn't level it over him.
Takes the snap, hands it off to Brueggemann, looking for a corner, just kind of slows himself and finds it, and gets a little bit of a gain, not as much as I think he had hoped, but
a good 5 or 6.
Oh, a gain of 5, okay.
Yeah, he ran over a corner and took an extra 2 or 3 yards at the end of that run.
As he is wont to do. So we're going to look at another about 3rd and 5.
Might have been watching some Cam Scattaboo last night.
We'll see what the Jaguars do here, who've had a lot of success on the ground on this drive in particular, chewing up a lot of clock and probably wearing down that Red Knight defense a little bit. Joseph takes the snap. It's a handoff, and Brueggemann is hit in the backfield for a huge loss, all the way back to about the 40-yard line. May have been given some forward-ish progress, if you could call it that.
I don't know. He got away and got smoked again.
So that is a huge play on the part of the Red Knights, who I just said might be getting worn down. Didn't look worn down on that play.
Yeah, well, I think they rotated some fresh faces on that D-line there. And, you know, got some new legs in there. You know, those hog mollies for Jefferson has been out there just as long.
So you go from 3rd and 5 inside the 25-yard line to 4th and 16 with the ball on the 33-yard line, it looks like. So that's a pretty generous spot considering what happened.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know what you do here unless you've got a trick play up your sleeve that you think can
I think
be successfly executed.
Yeah, it's a pretty long field goal at this level.
That's a long field goal in college.
Yeah, and yeah.
right,
yeah, that's like what
that's a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah. So a long field goal.
It's centered
at
least.
You're not going to try, and it's too short to punt. The net gain on a punt is probably not necessarily worth it as much as it is to try to get the first down.
I mean, I guess the logic is if you have a punter that can pin them.
Right.
I mean, like they were showing a squib kick earlier, which suggests they'll have control and the ability to down it. If you feel confident that your kicker can get it inside the 7, I see an excuse to kick here. Play the field position game and see if you can get it back before this half's over.
Yeah, and that would be huge if you can do that. If you can't, however, the difference between where the ball is now and where it might end up is not that great, and so I can absolutely see going for it here because there's not a whole lot to lose, I guess is what I'm saying, by going for it.
Definitely.
And so here we go. It's 4th and 16, and they do appear to be going for it. With Moore in the back, he is also the punter, I believe, and he might have gotten somebody to move. Not quite. Looked like it. And he is just, I thought he was going to be drilled, and he somehow escapes. Finds a man, throws the ball downfield, and it is blocked. And that was smartly not caught by the Red Knights. And so they will turn them over on downs, just as the Jaguars did. But not after a pretty impressive drive by the Jaguars, just couldn't come through in the end.
Yeah, I mean, they took 6+ minutes off the clock.
So there's 4:28 left to play here in the second quarter. And the Red Knights will have a shot to get one into the end zone to break the 7-7 tie right out of the gate. We had a couple scores. We haven't seen anything since. And there's a big hole for Joe Risholiak, and he's going to get a nice gain on the first down.
Stop by Vincent Smith after a gain of 6, bring up 2nd and 4.
Risholiak. I said Risholiak. Risholiak. Apologize. Want to get the names right when I can. 2nd and 4, clock winding down to 4 minutes in the first half. And I think that's Rashowiak again, who muscles his way close to a first down. It's all going to depend on the spot. I don't think he got it.
Oh, looks like there's a player down.
Uh-oh.
In a bad way.
Yeah, we do have a player down. That's number 72, Andrew Johnson, who looks to be in some real pain.
Yeah, no, it's never a good sign when the opponent is yelling for the medic. Hopefully he just doesn't feel good, you know?
Yeah.
We always pray for stingers in these situations.
Yeah, it does seem like he's maybe favoring an ankle, though. Hopefully he didn't roll it. Hard to tell, but... So the staff still with him. And still on the ground. We don't like this, so we'll let the staff tend to him, and hopefully he's going to be all right. We got 3:55 to play here in the first half. It was a very exciting first quarter with a couple of quick scores, Saul, and then things have really slowed down. And even though both offenses have been able to move the ball a little bit, they just haven't been able to punch it into the end zone.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think when you have two offenses that are really committed to running the football and taking, long systemic drives, it's really the defense takes a bend don't break approach, right? It just takes, 1 or 2 to get you behind the downs and start to really be able to.
And Andrew Johnson is up on, I will say, his foot. He's not able to put any weight on that right foot, it appears. So hate to see that, but he's at least getting help off the field and will hopefully be okay. Based on what I'm seeing here, I would say it's doubtful he's going to be back, though that's not an official status by any stretch. But
we have not spoken to the training staff.
No.
But
that doesn't look like a foot that's...
Yeah,
Oof.
Usually when they're hopping like that, if there's no ambulance called, it's at least not a broken bone.
Right.
But never a good sign.
No. So I hate to see that. Andrew Johnson going down and out of the game for now. We'll see if we can get any kind of update on his well-being. And here we go. It's 1st and 10 for the Red Knights. 3:48 to play in the first half. And they are going to go deep, and nobody there.
Pass intended for Jaden Garibaldi.
It was intended for Garibaldi. It wasn't really open, and just, I don't know if he's thrown it away or...
That was a one-read play. It was a give my guy a shot.
Yeah.
And throw it where they ain't.
Well, and I like that call on first down there. Hey, let's take a shot.
Yeah, well, and they kind of tried to lose him in that kind of like slot position there. Get him matched up on a linebacker.
All right, so quarterback drops back. It's a handoff to Garibaldi, who finds a hole that closed just in time. But it's a first down for the Red Knights. Nice run, but he almost broke that one.
He had an escort, too.
Yeah.
Anytime you see linemen running 10 yards downfield, it's...
And it looked like he was going to be able to squeak through there, but the Jaguars were able to close it just in time to basically save 6. So 3:18 to play now in the first half. Peyton Myers under center, drops back. He's looking to throw. He finds a wide open man over at about the 18, 19-yard line. So Peyton Myers finds Mac Lang. Thank you, Saul, for the first down and a nice throw and finding the wide open man. Looked like some broken coverage. What'd you see there, Saul?
Yeah, I think you defined it, right? I think he just got lost in the shuffle and was able to leak out on that corner route, and no one was home. I mean, I think, ironically, a worse throw might have been 6.
Interesting. Oh, and the ball is fumbled. There's a flag on the play. Little bit of maybe a messy exchange, but also got hit.
Well, it was a crisscross.
And the Jaguars are signaling they have it, but we also have a flag.
I think that's going to be a hold on that edge. The guy who knocked that ball out was getting drugged down from behind as he was, as that right tackle was trying to save possession.
Yep, and so it is a hold on the Red Knights. Obviously declined as the Jaguars have the ball. We have our first turnover of the game and a big one.
Yeah, well, funny enough, using a really, really old school trick play. Call it a cross buck or a crisscross, depending on what scheme you're in. But really, it's a handoff with an inside reverse to the wing back, and that edge just turned the corner right behind the wing and followed him. And it's really a testament of reading your keys.
Yeah, so nice play by the Jaguars defense. They will take over with just under 3 minutes to play in the half here. And it's a fake pass and then a handoff. Almost that old-fashioned Statue of Liberty play, and he just drags the defense that was all over him for another 3 or 4 yards, and a nice gain for the Jaguars here.
Yeah, I mean, 2:40. They have the playbook open probably for another minute or two here. Really kind of depends on what they can do, but I mean, a second and short. I've been noticing just a little bit of cheating in from some of these nickel and outsides. Really ready to play the run. Yeah, I mean, you see the alignment on 24 here. Came out all the way to the hash this time rather than about 3 feet in.
And so there's another handoff. That one's to Brueggemann, who finds some space. He's got a big hole, and he is brought down to about the 37-yard line. A huge run by Brueggemann, but the clock looks like somebody called the timeout. I'm going to guess it was the Jaguars. And I think that'll be their third. Oh, no, they got to stop the clock to move the sticks.
No, I think there's a hold.
Oh, this is coming back. Illegal blocked in the back by the Jaguars, and this is going to come back, and that's unfortunate.
But will only effectively be a 4-yard penalty, as it was way downfield.
And a loss of 7, loss of 6.
So the clock now ticking under 2 minutes. Jaguars don't seem to be in a hurry here. It's 2nd and 4. And taking their time with 4 receivers out there, and it's another handoff. I believe that's to Brueggemann, who gets the first down. That'll stop the clock momentarily while they reset the ball in the sticks with 1:39 to play in the half.
For a gain of 6 and a Jaguar first down.
Subbing at this point at 1:39 is
interesting.
Very much a decision. I mean, if I'm the Red Knights, I'm running a D-line sub out there and sucking an extra 10 seconds off the clock.
So the Jaguars with a little bit more of a hustle now. Clock ticking down to 1:20. Still a 4-receiver set, and I think we had somebody on the Jaguars move that's going to back them up.
Full start on the Jaguars.
That was number 3, Bjorn Golden.
So the Jaguars, who have not had a lot of success throwing the ball, absolutely will need to here to make anything happen. They may be satisfied with, let's just try to run the ball. Maybe we break one. If we don't, we go into the half feeling okay at 7-7.
I guess, but with a first down, you'd think that they'd want to be. I would be much more willing to push the ball here. I mean, they're.
And there goes another handoff to Brueggemann, I believe, who gets a nice gain, bringing the ball just past the original line of scrimmage. And the clock ticking down to 38 seconds now. If the Jaguars are going to want to do something, they're going to have to really start hustling.
2nd and 7.
Those Jaguars are not properly aligned.
And there's the snap, looking to throw the ball now. Doesn't find anything, keeps it, doesn't get much of a gain. And that's 15 seconds left, and we've got a timeout on the field. Jaguars take their final timeout. What do you do here?
I would have waited 10 seconds and called a timeout. I guess the logic here is throw a deep one, and if it's in field goal range, clock it quick. And if not, I guess the hope is leave enough time for them to for Benilde to do the same.
Or do you just make sure you got everybody exactly where you want them? Try to break open that hole for Brueggemann. Let him run it. If he breaks it, great. If not, that's the end of the half.
I'll admit I thought it was 4th down when I said that. And so I was thinking there was going to be a turnover.
Oh, right.
No. To successfully complete that play.
Yeah, they've got that extra down.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if you're happy at 7-7, give it to your star. See if he pops one, call it a day. But I see no reason not to try.
Right. You never know what can happen.
And obviously they're in a prevent defense here.
Yep. And so he drops back to pass, a little bit of pressure, scoops up, throws the ball downfield, and it's picked off by the Red Knights, and he is taken down. That is Garibaldi with the interception, and that stops the clock with the turnover with 5 seconds, and now the Red Knights can try to take a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bloomington was okay with that.
Yep.
The number one rule, if you're going to throw the pick, you got to make the tackle. And
they
did it. They're going to go to, they're barring. I mean, it is football. Anything can happen any time there is time on the clock. But barring something crazy, we should be going into half with a tie game. And I think Jefferson's feeling good about that.
Yeah, I think both teams have some reason to feel good about their first half, and they have some reasons to feel frustrated about their first half. There have been some good things, but they've also both been stymied for most of the first half trying to get the ball into the end zone. Here we go, 5 seconds left, and they do have 4 receivers out in the shotgun position, so he might take a shot here. Drops back and slings one, and it's handed off to Garibaldi, who's got some room and a block, and off he goes, and he is taken down at about the 21-yard line, and he almost broke it. What a well-designed play. Shades of a little Randy Moss kind of hoop-de-loop.
I prefer to lean more into the Boise State Fiesta Bowl.
Yes.
But, yes, I mean, just a classic end-of-the-half play.
Yep.
You get your athlete into space and see what he can do. I mean, you never turn your nose up at 50 yards unless it's with double zeros on the clock.
Yeah, so that was a very exciting finish to this first half with the Red Knights and a little bit of trickery using their best athlete to try to get the ball into the end zone. Didn't happen, so now here we go, halftime, 7-7. Heck of a ball game that we have ahead of us.
Yeah, and I think Benilde's probably excited. They're fielding the second half kick. I think they're going to try and, punch one in and hopefully not look back if they can help it.
And so with that, we're going to take a little break here. We'll be back for the second half. You are not going to want to miss it of what has been a great night of Friday Night Lights here at Benilde St. Margaret's. We'll take a break. We'll come back. I'm Paul Bodwin. This is Saul Eugene with me. And we'll catch you on the other side when we kick off the third quarter. Okay,
shout out to the
so I
BSM
want to welcome
coaching
you
staff.
back to St. Louis Park. We have some little technical stuff. We're not quite sure when we went live. Hopefully we didn't say anything off color in a hot mic situation. But here we go. The Jaguars ready to kick off the second half of this game. Had an extended halftime for senior night, among other things, and there's the kickoff. Nice deep kick, fielded about the 10-yard line, brings it up to the 20, the 30. He's got some room, and he finds his way to about the 43-yard line. He's still going, gets it to about the 45, 46-yard line. An excellent run back for the Red Knights to start this second half.
Braylon Kelly-Taylor's been very explosive. I mean, he has not been brought down by the first or second defender. He's seen it all tonight.
Yeah, so the Red Knights will start out here almost at midfield in this tie game, 7-7. Again, we had an extended halftime, so thank you for sticking with us because we had to do senior night, and then the dance team performed as well. So here we go. It's first place from scrimmage in the second half by the Red Knights. And it is a handoff. And he's just got some real athletic ability. It does Garibaldi, who skirts his way to a first down, which there doesn't seem like there was much there, but he finds his way.
There's great vision. I mean, really, he found that cutback. That backside of the line just washed him down, and he made the right read.
It does make me wonder if part of what the Red Knights might do is use him more in the second half than they did in the first.
Yeah, you know, I do wonder how much they were rationing snaps, as we saw him, you know, both on the defensive side of the ball as well.
And so there's a pass over to number 33. That's Brady Paulson, and it's going to be another Red Knight first down. So right out of the gate, a great return and then 2 first down plays. Red Knights are moving.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think they're sick of getting that stonewall and really starting to kind of spread it out, come out with a couple counters, and really start to put a lean on this defense.
So it's Peyton Myers at QB with a nice pass to Paulson to get that first down. And they now have the ball on the 30-yard line, 31-yard line to be exact. And he goes back, and it is, oh my gosh! I don't know that I've ever seen a ball volleyballed quite like that.
That was, yeah.
Wow.
That's the kind of gift you only dream of as
Yes.
a defensive lineman.
Yeah, that may have been 6 the other way, but they just couldn't rake it in. It's going to be an incomplete pass.
I think he was the most surprised person on the field that he was touching that football.
Red Knights caught a break there.
Big one. Let's see if they can make it worthwhile.
So
The
Peyton
safety's
Myers
open.
in the shotgun. Drops back to pass. Finds a man who's got some room, and that is Garibaldi, who's got the legs. He's brought down at about the 11-yard line, and another first down. So the Red Knights have really found something here in the second half. Nobody's moved the ball quite like this the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we really watched them, you know, pound the run, and right there they caught that outside linebacker with his eyes in the backfield and just layered it right over the top on that cover 3. You know, usually that's a much harder throw, even if that is the right throw against cover 3, and that play action made that a moot point.
So the ball on the 12-yard line,
Ooh.
and Garibaldi, I think, tripped over his own man and goes down for a little bit of a loss.
Quarterback seems to be blaming himself for that one.
Yeah, maybe didn't quite get out of the way. And we have a Jaguar player down. Speaking of which, we haven't heard anything about Andrew Johnson on the Jaguars, who left the game in the first half. Can't quite see who's down now for the Jaguars. We have a little bit of a stoppage here to tend to him. Looks like they're looking at an arm, potentially. I can't quite tell. So that is number 4, Kobe Willis, who is, no, sorry, that's a Red Knight player. Judah Sorensen, who is down. He's up and moving now. It looks like it may be his right arm has something going on. He's going to leave the game. And so it'll be 2nd and 14 for the Red Knights here. Deep into Jaguar territory, having a lot of success throwing the ball early in the second half.
Yeah, you know, I really think they're keeping this Jaguar defense guessing. You know, I think they're overcommitting and falling for play action, and they're really been able to make them pay this quarter. Look for a...
And so now here goes Myers again, back to throw, finds a man, and it's a touchdown! Red Knights with a reception by number 17, Finn Lang, with a touchdown for the Red Knights as they take the lead 13-7 and maybe punch it to 14 pending a point after try.
Just a nice, look like a little levels concept, and, you know, cleared out with the, you know, I mean, when we've watched Braylon Kelly-Taylor make a lot of plays, this time he was the decoy, pulling that those DBs out deep and allowing that backside dig across the front line to get open.
What an opening drive for the Red Knights. High snap, and the kick is no good. And so it'll remain 13-7 for the Red Knights, but what an opening drive.
Yeah, you know, we haven't seen that since their opening drive.
Yes.
I think part of this might just be a testament to coaching, coming out with a script, making those adjustments. We've really seen this offense thrive coming out of, a set, right? Being able to, most coaches script their first 5 to 10 plays of any offensive drive coming into a half, and seeing them be able to kind of be ready with those counters and be ready to kind of read, react, and play really quickly, I think is working to their benefit here.
Yeah, it was the kind of drive. It looks like it's exactly what they drew up in the halftime. We're going to do this, and this, and then they went and did it.
If you can go 6 plays, 60 yards, and not have a third down, your offensive coordinator's on the sideline smiling.
So here we go. The Red Knights now will kick off with 9:49 to play in the third quarter. Short kick. Bounces at the 25 and is fielded wisely by the Jaguars, because that's a live ball, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that is a fumble.
Yes. So the Jaguars will take over at about the 27-yard line, and they're going to want to get something going, and I imagine they're going to try to grind it out on the ground again.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to pull out some of those, those options, those zone reads, and really try and, spread them wide to keep the box light, right? If they can get a 5, even a 6-man box, and be able to take out one with the quarterback, they're liking their odds in terms of numbers.
So here we go, the Jaguar faithful on the other side of the field getting into it here, rooting on their team, wanting to counter with their first possession of the second half, and it's a handoff to Brueggemann, who again gets a nice big run and finds his way to the first down to about the 40-yard line.
That's that zone read play we saw earlier.
That'll be another Jaguar first down.
And Brueggemann is just so hard to bring down.
Yeah, well, when you get that zone read, you saw 55 had to honor that quarterback run. And when you get Brueggemann just a little bit of space, he is hitting the hole at full speed.
Yep, and so it's a nice first play from scrimmage for the Jaguars. Ball on the 41-yard line here early in the third quarter. And there's a handoff to Brueggemann, who's hitting the backfield. He's swarmed down, taken down for a loss. Probably a loss of a couple on that play. Great defense by the Red Knights.
It was a well-timed blitz. We used to call that blaze back when I was playing. And you just send both of those inside backers right through the B gaps. And when you time it up like that, I think we've been seeing a lot of going on one. And when you get those linebackers start to be able to sugar their way in, it's really hard to stop.
So it'll be 2nd and 13. Ball on the 38-yard line. It's a loss of 3. Joseph Moore waving a player over. Takes the snap, and it's going to be a keeper, and he's going to be hitting the backfield. And now the Red Knight defense seems to have keyed in on something.
Yeah, that was a great angle from the outside backer. I don't think, when they're doing their hat count at the line, that they necessarily expected him to blitz. And he took the right angle that he took away both that pitch option as well as that quarterback run, which is really hard to do.
So the Red Knights with an incredibly solid first drive in this second half, and now their defense really showing up to stuff the Jaguars after an initial really good run by Brueggemann. But here we have 3rd and 14 for the Jaguars now.
See if they can start working on this pass game a little.
Yeah, they think they're going to need to. They got 4 receivers out there right now. Moore in the shotgun, looking to pass, doesn't find anybody, takes off, and he's brought down maybe to about the line of scrimmage.
Oh, and looks like a late hit flag.
Oh, no.
It looks like a lineman got tossed on the back end of the play well after the sack.
So, yeah, that flag,
There is a flag on the play.
depending on what it is, could be a first down for the Jaguars.
You saw all the other hog mollies celebrating with 63 after he was being picked up off the turf back at the 25-yard line.
So it is a personal foul on the Red Knights. That will give the Jaguars a first down. So just like that, you go from 4th and long in your own territory to 1st and 10 nearing Red Knight territory.
Yeah,
what a flip.
Those are the kind of penalties that really change a game, right?
Yep.
And the kind that really upset coaches.
Or I'm sorry, in Red Knight territory, technically.
Yes.
Ball on the 48-yard line, or as I said earlier in this month, the 52-yard line.
There you go. We all can count, I promise.
So Jaguars catching a break there and hand it off to Brueggemann, who is met right at the line. Can't get much out of that, but gets maybe 1 or 2 yards.
Yeah, they really collapsed that line down really well. Looks like that D-line pinched.
Yeah, this Red Knights line has really stuffed the run well so far here early in the second half. One solid run by the Jaguars, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, they're really doing just a lot of slanting and trying to just flatten out that line. You know, I'd expect probably an outside backer to come sugar off the edge here as we slant one direction. There it is.
And it's a keeper, and Moore has some room, finds some space, and he will get a Jaguar first down, stays in bounds.
You know, it looks like, I think one of the wrinkles that BSM's really breaking out here is, you know, they're slanting their line and bringing that outside backer off of the backside, right? Because they keep running these, you know, not only just QB zones, but also trying to get them on that option play. The one, I mean, that one just hit, but they had the right call on. He just missed the tackle. We saw them make that big play in the backfield earlier. Watch those outside backers as the line shifts across. They're really coming off the backside.
So Moore looks over to pass to Brueggemann, who finds some space, wiggles his way, keeps on his feet, pulling the train to about a 5 or 6 yard gain. So a nice little dump play to Brueggemann, who kind of shifted out there last minute. And they just wanted to give him some space. I think.
Well, I mean, I think they just liked what they saw. You know, when they went on, you know, a little bit of a hard count there, you saw both linebackers show their blitz and kind of tip their hand, which kind of told you that edge was going to be there.
So it's 2nd and 5 for the Jaguars here. 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Got a big break on a 4th down penalty by the Red Knights, trying to exploit it. It's a pitch to Brueggemann, who now he turns a corner, has a little bit of room, and the Red Knights with a nice tackle by number 17, that's Finn Lang, to keep him from getting any further than he did, but it's a first down for the Jaguars.
Yeah, I think they're finding something that works. I think trying to add a couple wrinkles to make sure they're going away from that edge.
So ball on the 22-yard line. It's 1st and 10 Jaguars, trying to really take advantage of that big penalty on the Red Knights, and here we go. Moore with the snap, and he keeps it. He's looking for a pitch, not there, and he keeps going, and he's going to muscle his way up to what might be a first down.
I think it's about a yard short.
Yard short. Hard to tell from here. It's the far end of the field.
Honestly, 2nd and 1, though, is almost every coordinator's favorite down. You can run any
play
you want.
You can do it. The playbook's wide open.
There are no wrong answers when it comes to that.
Looks like we got a timeout on the field. Official timeout.
Looks like a player down.
And that is number 4 on the Jaguars. Have really gotten banged up tonight. I think that's Judas Sorensen. I believe was down earlier. So we'll take some time here to tend to Judas Sorensen, who's down hurt. Can't quite tell what's wrong with him. Sorensen, a senior. And I'm just getting thrown right back into junior high with this song, Saul. I'm sorry, I'm having a moment.
This is a little before junior high for me.
I would imagine, yes. Sorensen up and walking on his own strength, which is a really good. Maybe that's not Sorensen. That looks like it's Moore. I thought it was number 4, but it looks like it's Joseph Moore who's coming off the field.
The quarterback.
Yeah, and hopefully he's all right. He is moving on his own. Maybe just needs to rest for a play or two. So I'm not sure who we have in. Can't see the number.
I want to say it's number 2, Ethan McIntosh.
And it was, I think, a direct snap to Brueggemann on that play.
Brueggemann taken down.
With the chains.
And that'll be a first down for the Jaguars. And Moore is coming back into play, so that's a good sign. Glad to see that. Yep, and you were right. Number 2, Ethan McIntosh came in for a play. He's now out, and Joseph Moore is back in at quarterback. So first and 10 here for the Jaguars. 3 minutes to play in the third quarter.
Moore back there is also a sophomore too. So young gun running this this option offense.
And there's a give to Brueggemann, who just continues to plow his way into chewing up some yards. Gets inside the 10-yard line. And the Jaguars are really threatening here.
Yeah, no, I mean, they've had good leg drive. They're getting good push. I think it's, they just have to finish. I think that's really going to become the name of the game here. If, especially considering that botched snap, they actually have a chance to not just tie it, but take a lead.
Yeah, so a little bit of change of personnel by the Jaguars there. Couldn't quite tell who came in and who went out.
Looks like they're look for a pinch here. Both outside backers coming down that line, doing what we call sacrificial lambs. Yep.
And that's exactly what happened. So Brueggemann with nowhere to go on that play. That's going to bring up 3rd and long. Always interesting in this situation when you have a 3rd and 7, but then just 3 yards beyond that, you have another line you need to protect in the goal line. So sometimes that can favor the offense in that the defense has two spots to be worried about.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're really pushing in on the run. You saw them bring in a bit more of a heavy package. They're lining up almost in what looks like a 52, bringing both outside linebackers, and they're saying you're going to have to go over the top to beat us. So or beat us to the edge.
3rd and 9. And there's a fake handoff to Brueggemann that goes nowhere. And now it's going to be 4th and 9 or 10. And the question is, do you kick the field goal or do you try to go for it here?
Looks like they're kicking. Maybe?
Yeah. Well, that would cut it to a 3-point game. No,
it'd
be a
3-point game.
Math again. Yeah, that would cut it to a 3-point game, so I can see the reason to do that. It's also really early to even start playing that game, but scoring has been tough. So we've got, that's number 77, Marcus Dankman, lining up for the kick. The kick is up, and it is good. So you don't get the touchdown, but you're maybe feeling pretty good as the Jaguars. You get some points on the board. You had the botched field goal on the other end.
Yeah.
And now you're just down 1 field goal.
Well, and I think now the question, especially being down a field goal, is what is the line you trust your kicker to tie this game?
Yes.
Obviously you have to get the ball back.
Yep.
We got well over a quarter. No, I guess not well over. We got just over a quarter.
Just over a quarter, yeah. It's still even early to be playing that game. But I also think with what we saw from the Red Knights in their first drive, if they keep that up, field goals ain't going to cut it for the Jaguars.
Definitely. I mean, it's going to have to come with a stop. But I think, also when we look at how much, the passing game has struggled, the ability to really stack that line once you get into that, into that red zone, inside the 10 especially, they've had some trouble. Right? I mean, the one time they've been lining up 5 across and really crashing down. The only time they beat that was on that quick outside zone in which, we saw Abram Brueggemann just beat the linebackers to the edge.
And remember also, though, on that play, on that drive, and here comes the kick. It's a decent, long, good kick, and it is fielded by Garibaldi, and he's trying to turn a corner. Can he do it? He's running out of room, but he does, and he finds some room and gets the ball into Jaguar territory. Another nice kick return by the Red Knights. But I was going to say before that remember that the Jaguars were in a situation that was a sure punting situation and then got the big penalty. And so they at least have managed to make 3 points out of a 4th and long in their own territory.
Look, I mean, all 10 of their points have come off of big 15-yard penalties, extending drives. And really, the type of penalty that coaches are very unhappy about, right? They
no
like
need for it.
Hustle plays, happen.
Yep.
Holds are going to happen when you're working in the trenches. But, you know, you got to stop when the whistle blows.
Yep.
You got to know what's legal and what is doing too much. And, you know, hustle is great, but when it hurts your team, it becomes a detriment.
Yep, so the Red Knights here with the ball on the 48-yard line, hand it off to number 26, who's just yanked backwards, but still a nice gain. That was Rashowiak,
Stopped by Paulo Espinoza.
who's
After a gain of 3, bring up second and
gains
7.
3 yards after Espinoza is able to just kind of grab him by the jersey and yank him back. Some incredible arm strength.
That is the biggest man on the Jefferson team, sitting there at 275.
Wow.
He is a tank up front.
And just brute arm strength to yank back a runner who's almost getting up to full speed.
Well, it was a fullback, too. That was not one of those
Right.
little wings. That was a hard-nosed runner.
And so that's the end of the third quarter. Wow, did that third quarter kind of breezed right by, partially due to the number of first downs I think we saw. Just kind of kept the clock moving and not a lot of stoppages. And so here we go, the Red Knights with 2nd and 7 to go. And I'm supposed to sit here now and try to broadcast through Brian Adams. I don't know how to do that. I mean, this song's just a banger.
I mean, you could do a little karaoke for the people if you're really feeling confident.
But what a game we've had. It's 13-10 Red Knights here going into the fourth quarter. Last home game of the season for the Red Knights, depending on a playoff game that they may host. But a heck of a game here between these two teams.
Yeah, you know, I think they're really putting up a fight, and it's really going to come down to who's making plays in crunch time. You know.
And so there's a handoff. I missed who it was to. We got a little
33.
crowd situation here that blocked my field of vision. Number 33. That's right. Yeah, that's Paulson.
Gain of 6, bring up
Gain.
3rd and 1.
Yep. And so that's going to be 3rd and 1 now. So a nice gain. Just didn't quite get the first down, but 3rd and 1. It seems very doable for this red-hot Red Knight offense.
Action, Brady Paulson.
New formation.
Now they got 3rd and 1. You know, let's see what they do. And it's a pitch to Garibaldi, who's got the first down.
Tough tackle, though.
Gene Garibaldi
He just has a way, even when he's in traffic, of sort of wiggling his way through it. I don't know how he...
He gives me kind of an Alvin Kamara vibe.
Uh-huh.
He's not the fastest player on the field necessarily, but he has the feel and the vision.
Yes.
And it's the body control.
Yeah, I was going to
that
say
we're really
agility.
seeing.
Like, he's just able to kind of wiggle his body in such a way that...
You know, when you watch a basketball player do it, you call it flow state.
Yep.
Of like, it's not necessarily a requirement to be running a 4.4 speed if you have the ability to slither your way through.
So it's 1st and 10 for the Red Knights here. And look at that. Garibaldi finds some space, and it's going to be another first down, I believe.
Huge mistake from that Jefferson DN there. Got about 4 yards upfield and just easiest kick out of the PSM will ever find.
Yeah, so big gain for the Red Knights. Now they're moving the sticks again, even though the scoreboard continues to say 3rd down. It is 1st down and 10 for the Red Knights.
Subbed in some smaller bodies in the interior line here for Jefferson.
And there's a give
and
to Rashowiak, who picks up a couple.
After a gain of 3, bring up 2nd and 7.
So it's going to be 2nd and 7 for the Red Knights here, just knocking on the door of the red zone, hoping to punch one in, up 13-10 with 10 minutes to play in the ballgame.
I mean, considering the Jaguars' passing game, this is a make-or-break drive, I think. They only have so many long drives left that they can
and there goes Rashowiak again, who gets a nice a burst of speed to begin with, and then pulls a couple guys to another Red Knight first down. They're really moving the ball well.
I'm wondering BSM if they go for a kill shot here. You know, I think talking 4-down territory.
Yep.
I think they're leaning on him a lot. I think here's a chance you can go kind of PAP, and you know, maybe just give Braylon Kelly Taylor a shot. See what he can do. Put the ball near him. He looks like he's isolated on the top side.
Oh, and there's another give to Paulson, who almost busted one for the end zone. Picks up about 4 or 5 yards, though, and they continue to move the ball.
This is a slow developing kind of little whirly bird counter there. Very, very old school 70s high school play there.
Love it. That's even before my era. I was alive, but. All right, so here we go. 2nd and 5. Just under 9 minutes to play. And there's a give to Garibaldi, who's looking to find his way to the end zone, skirts his way in, and he is out of bounds at about the 3 or 4 yard line. Almost got there, must have stepped out. But it is a first down, so it's going to be 1st and goal. Red Knights have 4 downs here to punch the ball 4 yards in for a touchdown and go up 2 scores in the 4th quarter.
Well, and here comes the hefty package. We just watched 75, Riley Shannon, who usually plays D-line, sub in as an extra hefty in there.
Garibaldi and Paulson coming out, I believe that was. Did I get that right? Yeah, Paulson came out. So the Red Knights just kind of now slowly punching the ball closer and closer to the goal line with a 2 yard gain there.
First carry of the day for Will Kruzmark, too. Really, you're talking about spreading the ball out, giving a guy a first carry late in the 4th at the goal line is.
Now we got Mac Lang coming in and Kelly Taylor coming out 1 yard away from a touchdown. And the ball carrier is number 6. That's Robert Shull, and he is in for a Red Knight touchdown here in the 4th quarter of a tight game, trying to pull it away.
I don't think I've ever seen such a platoon swap for an offense. I only think half the guys that got him down to the goal line were out for the touchdown play.
It is impressive the way the Red Knights have been able to give so many people touches tonight.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're talking about 4A football too, where this isn't a 120-person roster.
Right.
I mean, it's impressive to have depth of talent.
So the Red Knights going for 2, trying to make up, and they call a timeout. They don't have a little confusion there, so probably a smart timeout, but going for 2, trying to make up for that missed extra point in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have momentum. I don't think they have a lot to lose.
No.
Necessarily.
They're up 9, and the way the Jaguars play, while it's effective on the ground, it's a clock chewer, and the clock could become an issue for the Jaguars very quickly.
They're going to need a big play.
Yes.
It's going to – their fate kind of depends on it at this point.
Yep. So it was not that long ago where we were saying the whole, like, how many possessions are you up wasn't really a factor yet. Very quickly it's become one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we have yet to see the Jaguars have a point-scoring drive under 6 minutes.
Yes.
There are 8 minutes on the clock at this point, and so, like, they're either going to need to find a pass play that works.
It was nothing like that 11-minute and 53-second drive we had in the other game we did, where they didn't even score.
I have never, an 85-yard, 17-play turnover on down.
That was several weeks ago, and this is this game right here and now. The Red Knights going for 2, trying to make up for their missed extra point earlier in the 3rd quarter, and it's a handoff to Garibaldi, who's going to throw, and he just misses his man, Nate Dukowski, and so that's going to remain a 19-10 game with 8 minutes to play. So a little trickery on that play. Why not, I guess?
I am a little wondering if the lineman got word that the pass was being thrown. As we saw a guard and a tackle 2 yards into the end zone trying to find someone to block.
Well, and Garibaldi, he kind of had him. He just missed him. I mean, just a little bit behind him, I think. And so it was there.
But it's hard to ask a skill position guy to go throw a football.
Absolutely. On the run, with pressure.
Right.
Absolutely.
At that point, he's almost thrown to a spot and hoping he's there.
So be that as it may, it's 19-10 Red Knights now here with 8 minutes left in the game. A little squibbish kick Runner slips. That's number 55, trying to find a corner, can't. And he will run almost 50 yards but get nowhere. But trying to turn the corner.
Some good cardio.
Was Alexander Matas. I'm not sure how to say his name. Excuse me. But so the Jaguars here will try to get back into this thing. 7:52 to play. They're going to have to score relatively quickly, but they're not in a huge rush.
Curious if we see any trickeration here. I mean, now would be,
yeah,
you know, while the playbook's still open and play fakes and things like that can still work, see if they pull something out.
But you're also just kind of waiting for Brueggemann to bust one. It's been so close. So there's the snap. It's a handoff to number 6 who finds some room, and he gets up to about an 8 or 9 yard gain, bringing the ball to about the 38, 39 yard line. That was Taylor Williams, I believe. Tanner Williams with a nice run. And they're going no huddle. So they do feel that sense of urgency because they know what their game is. And there's a pitch back to Brueggemann, who's looking for some room, can't find it, reverses the side of the field, and he will get a first down and finds his way out of bounds, and that's a first down, so the clock will stop at least momentarily. Forgive me, I don't remember when they start stopping the clock on the out of bounds.
I want to start.
But the clock will at least stop for now to get the stick set and the ball set. It looks like it.
Yeah, fourth quarter, I believe it is.
Okay. So really nice run by Brueggemann. It just wasn't there and found his way to the other side of the field.
He took off about 65 yards and when it was all said and done.
And managed to get out of bounds.
Yes. I think at this point, you know, if I'm a Jaguar runner, I will step out of bounds before I take an extra 2.
Absolutely. Unless that extra 2 might get you a first down.
Fair.
So here we go, 1st and 10 for the Jaguars. And they're going to throw over to number 21, who's met right where he catches the ball, is stripped away, and it is rolling, and it looks like the Red Knights have it on a huge turnover. 7 minutes to play in the game, and oh my goodness, he just took it away from him.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you teach it, right? It's first man holds him up, second one pulls the ball out.
I believe that was Roman Estes with the reception, and it's not like he fumbled it or anything. Ball just was taken out of his hands.
Got ripped from him. Well, and then I think you really just saw a difference in hustle. Who wanted the ball more? The Jaguars watched that ball roll, just assumed it was going to go out of bounds. They had a shot. If they dove on it, they would still have possession. Just no hustle whatsoever compared to the Red Knights, who 3 guys jumped on it to make sure it stayed in bounds.
Yeah,
even though they were not the first ones to the ball.
Huge turnover. And so the Red Knights hand it off to Rashowiak, and he doesn't get much. But at this point, all the Red Knights need to do is continue to chew up clock. Would still like to get a first down here to keep the ball. And look at that shot of the moon. Wow, what a great crew we have. Way to go, crew. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 for the Red Knights after that huge turnover play. And he drops back to pass, nothing there, and just kind of throws it away and takes a hit, does Peyton Myers. So it's going to be 3rd and 10 now, and that'll stop the clock. Thought it was interesting they're going for a pass play in this scenario.
I'd call it a kill shot, but
yeah,
you know, if you also got your quarterback hit and the clock stopped.
So now it's 3rd and 10. We'll see what the Red Knights can drum up here. They would love to get a first down and chew up more clock, but even if they don't, if they can get a decent punt, they can have the Jaguars could have quite a distance to go to try to get into the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, they're not a team built for the comeback, and I think that is...
And so another pass play that's going to be incomplete as the pressure was really on by the Jaguars on that play.
Yeah, well, I mean, a screen pass, and so part of that is the baiting them upfield, but you got to put a hand on them at some point. I mean, you can't. You're taught as a D lineman, if it's too easy, it's probably for a reason. But you still got to touch them.
And the Jaguars rushing to get a couple guys off the field, which they do.
Oh, and a false
and now
start.
there's a false start probably. Yep, that's a false start.
Wing on the top side.
So that'll back up the Red Knights a little bit more, which could significantly help the Jaguars here.
I think, Patrick Spout's back for Jefferson there. I think the most important thing for him right here is to catch this football.
Yes.
Letting it roll is the worst thing he can do, and his job right now is to call that fair catch and get possession.
And so the kick is up. It's pretty short kick, and will take a slight Red Knight bounce and go out of the bounds at the 23-yard line. So it's going to be 1st and 10 here for the Jaguars at the 23-yard line. So quite a distance to go, down by 9 with 6 minutes to play in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that turnover didn't cost them as much as we thought it was going to. Really only about 45 seconds of game clock coming off. And 30 yards of field position.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. Like, no one wants a fumble, but
it could have been a lot worse.
With how much that clock stopped, I get the mentality of, we're up 2 scores. We want to just end it, take all the life out of it.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, they could have ran that ball 3 times, and we'd be looking at 4 minutes and change, and an offense that hasn't scored, and again, less than 6 minutes.
And if they had gotten a first down on those runs, then you're looking at, that would have been my goal, was to just get first downs.
Right, end the game.
Yep. So here we go. The Jaguars with a little bit of new life in them. 6:12 to play in the game.
On a new formation here too.
And they've got about 75 yards to go, and they're deciding they need to throw, and that's probably smart. And Joseph goes back. He's running around, scampering like Fran Tarkenton, and tries to find a man, can't do it. Probably for the better in that scenario, to stop the clock rather than chew up more clock.
Pass intended for Gavin Van Overbeek.
So 6:03 to play.
I mean, he's really just running for his life back there, and because of the pressure, he's not able to get to a second read. I think that has been the biggest thing that we've seen every time they've thrown the football, is he is running for his life at every turn. When that first read isn't there, he's having to look to run.
And then he's off balance and having to throw without being set, which can be dangerous. So I think it was a wise throw on that play. And he's going to keep it this time. Trying to get some yards is Joseph, and doesn't find anything. And the Red Knights doing a good job here. Try to stuff the Jaguars.
They really just held the line and stayed flat. That's one of the best ways to defeat that option, is to have that whole D-line hustling flat and being able to take away all that cutback.
So here we go. Scoreboard says 3rd down. I thought it was 2nd. And Joseph back to throw, looking for somebody, doesn't see the guy behind him, and he will be sacked in the backfield at the 15-yard line.
Down for a sack by Will Grossmark.
And oh my goodness, exactly what you don't want in those scenarios is a sack for a loss.
Yeah, I think Jefferson's really stuck in between a rock and a hard place right now. I don't think they really have the personnel to be going deep. I mean, you're gonna have to reach deep in their bag of tricks to convert this 4th and 17. They just don't have time.
Yeah, but they've got to go for it too. But and we got a timeout on the field. Jaguars taking timeout, trying to figure out what best to do here. Make sure you got everybody you want on the field.
If I'm not mistaken, they only have 1 left too, which means this clock is going to start rolling as soon as
it is. They're in a very tough
Benilde
spot.
Can get that ball back in their hands.
So the Red Knights have just really controlled this entire half for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it's been one drive that really was a bailout drive that yielded 3 points. And since then, it's been 2 touchdown drives and a punt from the middle. And that one punt of a drive was really kind of reaching deeper into their playbook and not necessarily the same systemic power offense we've seen the rest of this game.
And on the flip side, the Red Knights offense has been very efficient, especially in that first drive. And so this, it's getting late early, as the great Yogi Berra once said.
I thought they said things about forks and in the road.
And now they're going to punt. And it's a nice roll for the Jaguars there, which just looked like they were intending to do that, to just get a forward spin on the ball. And
that was a 53-yard punt.
Yeah, so, you know.
Here you go, kids. Not all punts have to go high. Who needs hang time?
I imagine we'll see the Red Knights coming out with a little bit more of a run look than they did before here, but we'll see. And the Jaguars trying to get them turned over as quickly as they can.
I mean, look, you could take a couple straight knees and have it be, and take half the time off this clock. I mean, I think we are 1 first down from signing off and telling everybody good night.
But you know what they say, Saul? Football's a funny game.
It can be humorous.
So here we go. Let's see what happens. And it is a handoff, protecting the ball really well, just trying to chunk up some yards and protect the ball. And that's Shull getting about 4 or 5 yards. A nice run, protected the ball well, and that clock is just going to keep on ticking.
Yep.
Down to almost 4 minutes now.
I have a feeling that we're going to see Myers checking with the ref before every snap to make sure he is using every ounce of that play clock. I really do think Minnesota High School League should start getting play clocks on the field.
Yeah, there's an equity issue in it. In that they've had the same issue with basketball. But here we go. Another handoff to Shull, who's met at the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be 3rd and a little bit of a loss on the play, it appears.
And Jaguars will call their final timeout.
We've got a Jaguar timeout on the field. That'll be their last. 3:42 to play. It's 3rd and 3. If they can stop them here, they got a little bit of life, but not a lot.
It's something. Hope is a fickle thing.
It is.
In this sport. Sometimes all you need is a bad hop or two. You know, if anyone was watching this weekend, if you saw that Titans-Arizona game, there was a interception that resulted in then the defender fumbling and having it returned for an offensive touchdown.
Yeah. You just never know.
That was immediately followed up with a would-be 75-yard rushing touchdown in which the running back dropped the ball inadvertently at the 1-yard line and got the Titans their first win of the year. So we've seen crazier things from
we
the
absolutely
best players
have
in the game.
So here we
There's
go.
no reason to believe that something can't happen here.
The Red Knights at 3rd and 3 desperately want to get this first down to pretty much ice it. I shouldn't say desperately. They're hardly desperate, but would like to get the first down here. The Jaguars hoping to stop them and force them into a punting situation. And there's a quick pass out to number 3, who's met behind the line trying to find the first down marker. He's not going to do it. That's Nate Dukowski with the reception, trying to find the first down. Can't do it. So it's going to be 4th down and 3 to go. And I would imagine the Red Knights would punt here.
Okay. Oh. The booth did make a correction. They did have 1 timeout left, so that was called there. We unfortunately are having to do timeouts from memory. And
we don't have anything to indicate timeouts for us, and
we need like a little pitch counter, balls and strikes or something.
So 4th and 2, as the scoreboard says, for the Red Knights, presumably going to punt here. And the Jaguars will have a lot of work cut out for them, but it's doable if they can score quickly. That can change things entirely, and we know that with both the body and the speed of Abram Brueggemann, he could bust one at any moment.
He could. I would question if Coach A just doesn't say, I trust my team to get 2 yards and send us home.
Yeah.
He's got the athletes. He's got an open playbook. And even if he does fail, I think we're only moving his 99% chance to win down to 97.
Right, yeah. And to be fair, you're in, Red Knight territory here. So even if they gave it up, the Jaguars still have to score twice.
Right. Well, on a hard count here is probably a smart move.
Yep. Oh, and
there's the timeout.
There's the timeout, yep.
Red Knights will.
So they go hard for the hard count, and Jaguars don't fall for it.
Yeah, Jefferson held their water.
Yep.
I mean, you need to, especially at the high school level here, where it's an automatic flag and a dead ball, even if the defense jumps offside.
And you see here Benilde's schedule. Their next game will be against Marshall.
Heading out to my old college town.
Oh, there you go.
Marshall's actually produced some really good teams kind of late. I don't know if you know this, but that's where Trey Lance went to high school.
Okay.
They've produced some pretty big D1 talent, actually. They're kind of the team in that part of the state. So,
So a nice season for the Red Knights at 4-2 overall, 3-1 in the conference, I believe. And here we go. Now they're going to punt it.
Yeah, looking for their 5th win in a row here, too.
Receiver back at the 35-yard line. 3:28 to play in the game. And there's a punt. Takes a nice Benilde bounce, and he's got some room. Does number, I believe that's 21, Roman Estes. And now we got a flag.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I looked down for a second. I missed it. Now we got another flag.
There was a BSM defender that launched helmet first into a pile after the player was already down.
Yeah, you can't do that. And
that is borderline objectionable.
They're discussing it. We saw 2 flags thrown here. Not sure.
Well, we also saw a Jefferson player went and confronted the late hitter in the sideline.
Which you can't really blame him.
Right. He did not. He didn't seem to be the
Here
aggressor, but he
the
did
call.
come face to face.
Personal foul on the Red Knights.
And he's ejected, just as you said.
Resulted in an ejection. Unsportsmanlike conduct on the Jaguars.
So he's ejected, but doesn't look like there'll be any penalty yardage because of the response from the Jaguars.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I like that.
I'm with you. Somebody comes in head first like that could really hurt somebody, including themselves.
Yeah.
And you just standing up for your player a little bit. Did no contact or anything.
No, he came in and was face to face, but he clearly said something, but he did not. There was no shove. There was no punch.
It may depend on what he said.
Yeah, I mean, usually at the high school level, they do let it go as someone who was known for running his mouth just a little too much.
Yeah, I'm with you because it does take away the benefit that.
Other than a player missing.
Yes. But here we go, 3:15 to play. Now the Jaguars with a hefty load, and we've got a stoppage. Jefferson coach seems to be upset about something.
I'm wondering if he didn't realize there was a...
Oh, maybe just looking for clarification, I should say. I don't know that he's upset. So he seemed to be good to go here now with 3:15 to play in the game. Jaguars need 2 scores down 19-10. Ball right at midfield. And Joseph drops back, gets some pressure, finds an open man who is able to get out of bounds. And I couldn't quite tell who caught it. Did he get the first down or did he get out of bounds before?
I think he was out of bounds before.
So it looks like a gain of 8 for the Jaguars, but out of bounds.
Oh, I'm looking at the Red Knights.
It looked like number 0 to me, but I couldn't quite tell.
I would agree, especially size-wise.
So maybe Dorian Ward. With a nice reception and the ability to get out of bounds and make sure that clock stopped. So now 3:08 to play.
Looks like some cramping on the field, so hopefully the sophomore will be all right out there. That's,
Jaguars looking to score quickly. Who's that?
They have to. I think down on the field is Charlie Schneider, the outside linebacker. We've seen him make a couple of plays tonight, too. Though, if I'm not mistaken, that last play was the first completion for positive yards.
I think you might be right,
of the game. I think they've completed 2 screen passes otherwise that went for -2 and -1 and a fumble, respectively.
I think that's right, yeah. But have had a lot of success on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
But have come up short a couple times actually punching the ball into the end zone.
Well, when you talk about what it takes to come back down 2 scores, your first positive completion with 3:08 in the 4th is an uphill battle, to say the least.
Yeah, so we'll see what Jefferson has up their sleeve here, trying to
looks like Schneider's going to be okay. He jogged off to the sideline. Is not with the trainers.
That's good. So
appears
back,
to be a cramp.
And he's going to hang on to it, I think. Looking to pass, can't find anybody, and now he skirts ahead, and we've got a flag on the field. I think he got the first down pending the penalty.
In the area holding.
Although, based on where it appears they're going to spot this, I don't know that he's got it.
Doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter because it's coming back anyway. It's holding on the Jaguars. So we'll replay second down. And now it's going to be second and long. Essentially negates the 8-yard pass play that they had.
It's still on the books, though.
Yeah, it's still on the books. Yeah. So it's second and 13 to go, 3:01 to play in the game. Jaguars trying to find something. Joseph looking to throw. Finds a way to square up, throws the ball into traffic. It's incomplete. The clock will stop with 2:55 to play. Not much there.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the part of the game where throwing a prayer is about as it's better than holding it, better than throwing it away.
Absolutely, and better than a 4-yard run in this situation, which doesn't really do you a whole lot.
If you put the ball in harm's way and it's near a receiver, I think at the end of the day, it's about all you can ask for with that kind of pressure.
So third and 13 with 2:55 to play. The Jaguars, again, looking for something. They got 5 receivers set, 3 on the near side, 2 on the far side. And we've got a receiver who moved. I believe that was number 5, Carson Christensen, who's going to back him up even more.
I think BSM is really looking at this as 2 plays can win it here.
Yep.
I mean, we are 5 full play clocks from.
All right, so Joseph rolling out to the near side, flings the ball over to number 5, Christensen, who just had the penalty, and he's got the first down. The clock will stop momentarily while they reset. And so the Jaguars are going to want to hustle here to make sure that that clock doesn't tick down anymore.
BSM's trying to sub. If the Jaguars can get moving, they can catch them off balance. And they don't know what they're running. So here they go. They're
trying to get their play called. 2:35 to play.
20 seconds.
Joseph looking, rolling out. Can't find anybody. He's in trouble. He's got to get rid of it. He does. And he finds a wide open man who gets out of bounds at about the 12 or 13-yard line. Nice play by Joseph to, I didn't see who caught it. Was that number 10? There is no number 10, at least in my book. 18, thank you. Gavin Van Overbeek, I believe, is who caught that and was smartly got as far upfield as he could and then got out of bounds.
Well, and now they're starting to get to a place where does a field goal make sense?
Yeah.
To, depending on,
depending
on
the situation.
They get caught inbounds here. But,
so a little pitch over to Brueggemann, who finds some space, and he's
In for the touchdown, just like that. 2:15 to play, and the Jaguars have managed to find the end zone and find it quickly. And it's now a 3-point game. Pending this extra point, could be a 2-point game, and this could get interesting, Saul.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to the onside kick.
Yep.
They're out of timeouts, so it's not like they can go play defense. And frankly,
here's the kick. We got a flag.
False start. They weren't set.
False start.
On the Jaguars.
I mean, it's going to be hands team. And if the hands team can just grab the ball and fall down,
we'll see.
The Red Knights are going to go home happy, but
so backs them up a little bit. I do believe the kicker Denkman here has the leg for this.
He did hit from about this distance
Yeah.
early, about maybe 5 yards back even.
So a big, they don't need this necessarily, but it's a big kick to bring it from 3 to 2, and he's got plenty of leg. The kick is up and good, and it is a 19-17 game, and it's all going to come down to an onside kick with 2:15 to play. Very impressive by the Jaguars to score that quickly when they haven't been able to do that all game.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen those types of chunk plays in the past game at all, and honestly, a lot of it was really just improvisation. That, you know, the quarterback was able to get himself free and keep his eyes downfield, which I think is the hardest thing. We're talking about a sophomore quarterback here.
Yeah.
That, like, being able to keep his eyes downfield. I think the Jaguars might have a kid as he continues to develop, and, you know, at 15, it's very different than being a 17-year-old out there.
Yes.
And so, like,
what
this is the kind of experience.
What impressed me about him is, like you said, like, able to roll out, keep his vision downfield, also has the footwork to kind of twist his body and get squared up when he needs to, rather than thrown across his body or anything like that.
He was pulling a sprint out to the left.
Yeah.
It's not like he was moving to his dominant arm.
Right, exactly,
like,
yeah. So really
aren't easy
impressive
throws.
work on this quarterback, Joseph, who's just a sophomore. And here we go. It's all going to come down to this kick.
They have 12 on the field.
Uh-oh.
Bloomington
Well, yep, they're
does.
getting him off, and they got their guy off. They caught it. That was close.
Yeah, I saw that.
And here we go. There's a little squib kick, and it looks like Benilde has it, and that should wrap it up with no 2-minute warning and no timeouts.
Honestly, Jefferson nearly got lucky. They didn't get called for illegal touching.
Okay.
That ball hit one of the Jefferson players' feet at 8 yards.
At 8 yards. I was wondering, like, they were trying to
skirted the wrong direction,
Yeah.
and
I was wondering the same thing. I noticed. I was like, they got to let it go 10. And
Right.
and I kind of got blocked from my field of vision. But here, nevertheless, it doesn't matter. The Red Knights recover, and they should be able to just essentially knee this thing.
Yeah, I think you might have to run a play technically, but if you can run 14 seconds off in 3 plays, the average football play is 6 seconds long.
And so they get hit in the backfield. Clock will wind down to 2:06 now.
Behind the line for a loss by Vincent Smith. Loss of almost 3. Bring up 2nd and 13.
Let's see when they end up snapping this ball next.
Well, they're going to wait as long as they can. If I'm doing my math right, and I can never do this math right, I would say if they don't get a first down, the Jaguars will get the ball back, but not with very much to do anything with.
They were 15 seconds over, so that's how much they'd have to burn in running plays to.
And so there's another run play back to about the original line of scrimmage there, maybe picked up a couple yards.
They're going to get this under 50 seconds here.
Yeah.
They got to get to 40 to be. Honestly, they might hit 4th down and just hold the ball until that clock runs out. Kind of the football version of parking the bus.
Yeah. So regardless, though, we've had quite a night of football. It's been a really entertaining football game.
Yeah, no, I think there was a point that we kind of thought that Benilde was going to start to run away with it, and the Jaguars really fought back.
They did.
And made this a close game.
Well, and the Red Knights did that interesting thing where they started passing the ball when they were up a couple scores late and all of that. It really kept the Jaguars in the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, the 2 minutes they could have ran off the clock. is about the time
Yeah.
that the Jaguars scored that touchdown to
Yep.
bring it to 2. And so, I think the Red Knights are going to escape with it.
Yes.
And it's not going to come back to bite them, but it was definitely a unique decision.
Yeah.
Considering, the score and the time on the clock.
And also, to be fair to the Red Knights, they put themselves in a position, regardless of whether they passed or ran in those situations, where the Jaguars were going to have a lot go right for them in order to win this game.
Definitely.
And a lot did go right for them, but at the end they couldn't make the onside kick, and that's sealing it.
And it's pretty hard to bet on an onside
It
kick.
is.
Even at the high school level, it has a higher odds. It's probably 15% at the high school
It's difficult.
level.
It's difficult. One of the more exciting plays in football, though.
Yes. That was always one of my favorites. My job was never to go get the ball. It was to hit the guy we were kicking the ball at.
So 45 seconds to play here. 19-17, Benilde up with a pitch over to Garibaldi, who scampers around a little bit, is tackled at about the line of scrimmage. Yeah, and the clock never ran, so now they're running it. They're going to have to get an official time. They're stopping play right now, presumably just to get the clock right.
Should have ended the game.
So kind of curious ending here with a clock situation.
Truly, they should only have to snap the ball. Now, this game's over.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to have to snap the ball again.
Okay.
They only had to run 5 seconds off in order to end this game, and I think they were successful in doing that.
So it's hard to know. The Red Knights aren't even taking the field. Jaguars are standing out there.
We're going home.
Yeah, this game's over. Yeah, it's just nobody quite knows that it's over.
I guess. We're unwilling to accept that it is.
It's a very anticlimactic, but otherwise an extremely entertaining football game. And the Red Knights will win after a really entertaining game. Their last home game, of course, outside of a playoff game on senior night. And what a fun night of football, Saul.
Yeah, definitely. Really happy to be here. And
yeah, glad to have you. And I know you got to get off to a late anniversary dinner. So congratulations to you on your first anniversary.
Thank you. Yeah, shout out to my wife, my better half.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight on a wonderful evening of Friday Night Lights. My name is Paul Baudouin. I'm with Saul Eugene. Have a wonderful, beautiful weekend. Shabbat Shalom to our Jewish friends out there. And everybody, may we all live in peace. Be loved.